Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time it is that you get to watch this. Karibuni sana. First, thank you so much because of the love that you've given us at All Smarts Therapy Center and Training Institute, including our rehabilitation center, where it's just a lot. Thank you for following us on, and for liking our page on TikTok and on all our social media, YouTube, Facebook, all over. We do appreciate it. We say childhood traumas, it's what we suffer as a result of having unresolved adverse childhood experiences. And so what I'm sharing today, they're the symptoms that actually your kid is going through some adverse childhood experiences, and they actually need to be seen by a professional so that they are being able to help process and resolve. Let's talk about kids counseling. At what point do you get to know that now it's that time to take my kids for counseling? Anyway, have you ever taken them for therapy? And when is the very first time you ever saw a therapist or a psychologist? Have you ever been into a psychology room or a therapist room? Anywho, now, parents, ladies and gentlemen, how do you get to know that your kids, they need to see a therapist, or it's time for you to book a session for your kids to be seen by a psychologist? Number one, drugs and substance use. From wherever you get this information from, a time could be from the school, from the nanny at home, from the friends, or you just happen to find out. We have scenario where parents will walk into the rooms of their kids and they realize, oh my goodness, what is this I'm seeing? Is my kid into drugs? So the moment you suspect or you feel like your kid is into drugs and substance use, get to know that's the time to take them out for therapy. In case of a bully, and in this case, let's break it into two. Just in case your kid is being bullied in school. And by bullying can be in so many ways. Maybe they're being laughed at. Some people, or rather some kids at school, they feel they're so chubby or they're so small, or they're just being laughed at for other reasons. The time could be they do not know how to swim, they were pushed, or something happened to them. Are we the type of parents who will come and either tell them, when you are bullied, also bully people, bully them, when ukichapwa enda uchapane, those things? Or are we the ones who will tell them, no, it's because of ABCD, you're being bullied because you always go there late, or you're a noisemaker, or this is why, Are we the ones to validate and first to tell them, I'm so sorry that you're going through this in class, and please, I think it's time you see a therapist and you get to share more? When they're being bullied, get to know it's time for them to go for therapy. Also, when they bully, how many times have you been called to school when our kids, they've done ABCD? And during that time, what do? They pushed another one, or who fell, or they did this, they were rude, or they did something. Please, parents, it's always good to get to know these cues or these signs so that we can address our kids' issues. They avoid people, avoidance. Do they watch movies and series? They're about to come when they close school. Are they watching movies and series all through the night so that in the morning during breakfast time, when the entire family need to be there, they're not there with an excuse of, they were watching until 2 a.m., so allow them to sleep, or they're not able to engage during the day because they are very active at night? Are you there? Get to know they could be doing something we call avoidance, and that's a very important and a very severe aspect in their upbringing. Just in case you happen to notice any, it's time for them to go for therapy. If they're just crying from nowhere, your kid never used to be a crybaby, and all of a sudden they start being a crybaby, or they're having some anger outburst. Let's learn our kids' emotions. We know our kids so well. I like it when I meet parents who tell me, I know for my firstborn, he can just cry from nowhere out of no reason. But for my thirdborn or my firstborn, for them to be just crying for no reason, there could be something. So let's also not minimize their emotions. When you notice something that is different with them, or is shares of death in the family, how often do we get to involve and engage them? When they've lost a parent, when they've lost a loved one, a grandma, a sibling, even their classmates or even their teachers. Most of the time we like minimizing by assuming their kids, they do not understand about these things, they do not know. But get to know. And when you talk about kids, by the way, we are referring to 4 years up to 18 years before they get the ID. So get to know they also go through their own grief emotions. They feel the absence, and actually they need to be checked to be supported during this time. Let's avoid ignoring or assuming because they're kids, there isn't much weight on them. Have seen parents saying they do not even know who their real mother is. They do not even know who their real dad is, because maybe the parent, the sibling, they die, and now you want them to adapt the sister, the auntie, your new spouse, as their parent. Get to know that can never be replaced. And this is what I actually call upon parents, just in case you have a kid who has gone through loss, whether they were small and now they've grown. It's your responsibility to ensure that they are informed in the most professional manner so that they can be supported. It's very worrying when people come as adults and just say, I realized the other day that this is not my mother, this is not my dad, or that I had another, I had a sister, a twin brother, and all that. You can imagine the emotions that comes around with it. So let's ensure ours is not to minimize, but it's to face it. And we are here as Allsmile to help you go through that. In case of disability in the family, do we get to explain why your sister is different from us, why your brother is different from us, why they need to use a wheelchair? And in case of disability, can be just something kids enabled differently. Maybe we have kids with neurodivergence, could be severe ADHD, could be autism, or anything else. Do we actually get to explain to our kids, or we allow them to just grow and learn by their own? How many times do we talk to them that actually your brother, your sister, or your dad, your mom, or shosho, a time you're taking them to our grandparents, do you get to explain to them that why they need to use a walking stick throughout, why they need to be in a wheelchair, not because that's how life should be, but because of ABCD? Do we do that? Because if we don't, we just leave a void, and that void is going to be filled with a lot of emotions. So our kids, they have their emotions needs, and it's our responsibility to help them. So you need to take them out for therapy in case of such. There is one about illness in the family. You find them, especially for those who are in Nairobi, in town center, like when our parents back at home, they're unwell, we want to bring them here, maybe for them to be near to the hospital and all that so that they can be taken care of. But do we get to know there is a kid in that family that need an explanation? That look here, for now we need to call your sister to come back home, your brother, your grandfather, our relative, because they are unwell? Or do we just allow them to be there? Do we just assume that actually they're not seeing what is happening? Trust you me, they will start having nightmares and things. One thing will lead to the other. They will have a void that it will only end up being traumatic if it's left unresolved. When our kids, they start telling lies, how often do we keep check on them? Well, one thing we say is kids naturally, they'll get to that level. And for you to know that they're growing is they'll get to a point and they will lie to you or they will hide something from you. It's also good to know that kids are very manipulative in nature. Mommy, if you're not going to buy me this, I do not. The 2-year-old, the tantrums and all that. And generally that's okay, because it's do we say that's the straight way of when they're growing up. They lie because maybe they've now started knowing what is wrong and what is right. And so when they did something that is wrong, they'll find some reasons. I have come home late because, my watch got lost, so I was looking for it. I am not justifying lying in kids. But what I mean, at what point do we need to check out? When each and every statement they tell becomes a lie. When the kids, they are lying, it's a lie after lie, even when they actually need not to. When they look outside and they just say, no, it's like it's going to rain. It's absolutely not raining. When they just tell lies that are not based, I'm not again justifying lies, but get to know, could they be masking so much until now they've gotten to a level where they've forgotten? We call it about kids dissociating. They've dissociated with with the real what is happening with the real world. Like they are just masked in their own world and they believe everything that is happening is a lie. So again, another reason to bring them for therapy. In case of change of lifestyle, here we look at lifestyle. You've been working, you've lost your job. Definitely there is a lot of things that you will have to compromise with. Maybe you used to have the buffet breakfast. That may not be the case all through. Maybe you used to take them also to very expensive schools. You need to drop that, or you are living in a very high-end estate, or whatever you are doing, but now your lifestyle will have to change. And we say this, change can actually be either way. You don't have to have lost a job. You can actually get that job and now you feel this is the time for me to improve my lifestyle to be where I have always wanted to be. Remember, it's you who is changing. It's you who is knowing what's happening. And also this can come along with a significant life change. Maybe you've moved from one town to the other. It's a work transfer, or a new job. Or maybe you've moved countries, like you've left Kenya continent, to America or to UG, or you need to go back to the village, or you are in the village, you need to come to the town center. get to know it's you who is doing this. Maybe because of your occupation, you've won a green card, or something has happened to your life. But for your kids, they've had their routine, they have their way, a pattern. When I wake up in the morning, I know if I want to go play, or my friends, or I'm in, I'm 16-year-old and I know where my other 16, 15, 17 they are, the people we mingle. What will happen to them if you do not take care of their emotions? Mostly this goes to parents, and especially like, because I am in Nairobi, those in Nairobi, we keep on moving, maybe estates. Do you actually think about the friendship they are creating? Because what we say about childhood traumas doesn't have necessarily to be about lack. You may be having it all that you need, but the fact that you never address the change the right way, you are never there for them to take care of their emotions, to let them know it's okay. Even where you are moving, you're going to have other friends, and just to address their fears. What are you fearing most? Because what might end up happening is, yes, you will go, maybe it's even for the positive, but they're not able to fit in. Why? They're there wondering, will I also have all these friends? And soon they just fade away, they just go. Will we also move again? Without knowing, in the process, they develop something we call anxious attachment style, that I better not attach to anyone, because if I do, they will go. And that's why we are having so many cases of anxiety nowadays, coming as, it's in a way we can say that's childhood trauma manifesting like in adulthood anxiety, because there is some things that were never addressed during your childhood. Also, the same addresses the culture shock, especially you are teaching them to boarding school. Let them also go for therapy and get to learn a tactic, one or two. Maybe at home they've been used of someone cleaning after them, making their bed and all that. Let them just address the anxiety, the fears around that. We also have the pre-teens, the teens crisis. Oh my goodness. This is what we say. Adolescence is a phase. Just like we have midlife, it's still a phase. But the moment it becomes a crisis, and for adolescents, we say it's an identity crisis. The moment it's a crisis is when it's not well managed. Ladies and gentlemen, our parents, guardian, most of the time, you will bring your kids when there is an issue. Like we wait until there is something that is not okay. Now, by the time you are starting, you realize, oh, you lost them long time ago, because during adolescence, they want to know. They are also at the exploration stage, and that's why we call it identity level or identity phase. They want to know, who am I as a girl? What am I supposed to do? Also, during this stage, this is what I say. If I had powers today, I would say there is no like boarding school for boys and for girls. I would actually make all the schools to be mixed schools. Why? Because our kids need to learn how to be in their adolescence, the exploration stage, and get to relate well. Boys and girls, girls and boys. You can have boyfriends, you can have girlfriends, because having boyfriends and girlfriends, it's not sexual, should not lead to sleeping with them. But you can have very healthy relationship with opposite gender. Also, boys, do we teach them about periods? Most of the time we don't. Also, for our girls, do you teach them about also, the boys, the building of the muscles and all that? We don't. Why? We allow it for them to come and experience. An experience by in a way of experimental. Remember, it's the experiment a lot. Also, we say when you're talking about identity, they need to have someone. When you say a mother, is this the mother that actually, are you the mother that you want your kid to grow up to be? Are you the dad that you want your kid to grow up to be? Just in case you're not, please don't be the one to turn back and say, grow up, but don't be like me. It's time to bring them for therapy. Let them just get to explore with a therapist and get to know. Even when those temptations come, it's when they say developing feelings. Really doesn't mean that they need to go to bed. When they are so used of relating with other boys, if it's a girl, or with other boy, with girls if it's a boy. Also about when you realize they're sexually active, even before we go to teen pregnancy. The moment you realize they're sexually active, please, it's time to have them for therapy. We've seen scenario where a lot of things will happen. Even by the time they're coming for therapy, they take it like, this is just another way of punishment. My parents, they want to punish me because I did this. We say there is nothing like having a consented, you don't consent to be intimate or to have a sexual relationship when you are underage. So maybe your son or your daughter, they were raped. Could be, maybe your son or your daughter, they've been harassed, sexually, or that's something that happened. Because the question and how we go about this is to get to know, when did they start, with who, how are they shown, was it experimental, is this something they were just playing? And also, as we talk about this, parents and guardians, let's normalize talking about having sex talks with our kids. It's very, very important, no matter how much it may look like, it's so off, it's a taboo, we're not supposed to, because when you don't, you leave a void. Remember, we are all living in an era of, we are in digital era, which means a lot of things that are happening. And if you do not actually talk to them to get to know what this means and what it could mean, you leave a void where anyone can just put in anything. Maybe they just said, we learn by experimenting. Come, I show you what is sex by, literally doing it. So the other day, I heard someone say, I think it's Tom the cat. I don't know, Tom the cat told Angela, will you marry me? Imagine a 4-year-old saying that. And of course, now the fact that they were able to raise that and they're referring to cats means a lot, because you might be thinking they are just watching normal cartoons, but get to know even the cartoons that they watch. Are you there? Do you get to know what they are watching? So yeah, another reason for them to come for therapy. In case of just the normal indiscipline, and by saying the normal, not like I'm normalizing any, but they're in school, they're not working, they're not doing their homework, they're just making noise. And if it persists to a level where now it's not just a case of disciplining this kid, but they actually need help. We say when kids, especially kids 15 years and above, for adolescents, always get to hear from a therapist, because we want to ensure we are not promoting or we are not encouraging kids with something we call contact disorder, because that can grow to be something else even as they grow. Let's create awareness and we learn how to go about all these things. Also, we are looking at them being expelled or maybe suspension from school. One thing we say is, parents, when you're called by the school management that your kid has done ABCD, are you the type of parent who will first defend them? Who will say, you people, you do not know who my son is, you do not know who my daughter is, I know them better than you. Before then, let's also allow ourselves to be educated. I'm saying this because I get to see kids and I know parents will come saying, this this should not be happening. Maybe the school, they are picking on me. So allow to be educated, and yeah, we are here to walk with you the professional journey. Also, in case of divorce and separation, when there is violence and abuse at home, do we get to involve them? We've seen many cases of separation and divorce, and everyone goes their way. Over the time they heal, they are over it. But what about the kids? What do we leave with them? The trauma associated with that. We were used to having this family system. It's no longer the case. Do we get time to take care of their emotional needs? Do we get time to even address their emotions? How are they feeling? We're not saying that now if you decided not to be together, you come together because of the kids. But what we mean is allow them also to get professional help. Divorce, separation, it's for two people. What about the kids that are left? Most of the time, in fact, war is about the kids. Please don't have them enmeshed in your troubles and your issues. Let them walk the journey with a professional. It's not the time to start talking ill about the other partner, or when you are co-parenting, to tell them when you go the other side, you do this or this other side. No. Remember, these kids, they grow and they grow so fast. They grow so fast, soon they'll be over 18 young adults, and before you know it, they'll be coming for therapy to address the unresolved childhood traumas or issues that were actually never addressed back then. You can imagine the damage and the much it will have affected them in their normal life and their social relationships and all that. When there is drop in grades, or they say they want to change school, I know most of the time as parents, we want to impose, do you know how much school fees I'm paying? Why are you not, when first you see the grade is going down, or they keep on saying, can we change the school? Can we change the school? Mommy, daddy, I do not want this school. So just don't sit and say they're dropping in their grades or their scores are now going down. Just get to know what exactly is happening. Also, parents, when our kids, they cry and say, I do not want to go to this school, let's not start justifying, have paid so much money for you to go to this school. Do you know how much I'm paying? Do you know, for me, I went to school without shoes. You have all the opportunities. Why do you want to abuse this? Let's not impose our unresolved childhood issues on them. I always take, we should not be compensating. You went to school without shoes, now you want your kid to have 20 pairs of shoes. And so because they're saying, well, I do not want to go to this school, you can't understand. Like, you have the shoes, you have everything. At time, we might be reparenting ourselves in them. Let's give them an year of audience. The much they need is audience. You do not want to go to school. Tell me how this is making you feel. And because, again, you are not a professional at it, please bring them to us, because most kids, they're being harassed in school. They can come to you because of the fear of you imposing your values, or you just do not want to listen to them. That's still another call for them to go for therapy. Also, if your kid is a candidate for the year, and one thing we say is you don't have to wait until the last year. And also, we find most of the time, especially during the last term, the midterm in between, we will have so many coming in preparation for the, if they are candidates for their main exam. So this is what I say. For this exam anxiety and all that, we need to capture, we need to counter that early enough so that we can leave room for them to revise, room for them to be themselves, to be assertive, to be able to revise well. But when we wait until when they're having this panic, when they have anxiety, you might actually bring them to a level where they are opening up, they're discovering themselves, they're in regret. Why didn't I know this about myself so long time ago? Because by now I would be so sharp in my books, I would have performed so well. So let's normalize to start as early as any time, actually as early as yesterday. And here I talk because we see kids from the age of 4 years all the way to 18 years. So let's normalize, bring them for therapy as a form of self-care. Lastly, just in case there is the arrest or someone has been jailed at home, it's also another reason why they need to go for therapy. Our parents, let's normalize having them go for therapy when there is something that is unusual, anything. Also, let's also have that audience with our kids. Allow them to educate you. When you notice something, they're so manipulative. The nannies we have at home, the relatives we leave them with, how often do you get to talk to them to get to know how is everything? Are you their support system, or are you the reason why they'll have to come for therapy when they grow up? So to be able to create that emotional bond with your kids and to have just a safe space in you, the much you can do is just be there for them. Also, let them walk the journey with professionals. In this case, I'm referring to ourselves as psychologists. So we have very great discounts and offers for the kids. So please bring them. And as you are planning to take them to the village, or if they're in the village, to come to the town, to take them for vacation, you have tuition and coaching, you have all these plans for them over the holidays. Always ensure to plan for them to see a psychologist. I do appreciate, and if you're a parent out there, you've brought your kids for therapy, whether as a school requirement or just for you to be able to rediscover yourself, maybe significant change and all that. Thank you so much. And one thing I see is the parents who bring their kids for therapy, they actually don't stop. Why? Because they can see the impact, they can see the positive energy that comes with it. So this is to encourage all of you. It's never too late. We never got a chance to go for therapy when you were growing up. And if you did actually, and you are my age or you are millennial, it means you are lucky. You are actually lucky enough. So you find most of the grown-ups right now as adults, we are doing a lot of work to heal our inner child. So even as you work on healing your inner child, please, let's not have them pass through the same path. Let's give them that room. Remember, I've talked about, they don't have to be the ones using drugs and substance, but could be someone at home is using drugs and substance, and that causes chaos. When you have this divorce separation, you are just arguing anything. Also, for the kids, get to listen as parents what is happening in these schools. One thing I say is, given a chance, I would say no more boys and girls. Let's have mix so that they can interact well. And because we are not yet there, we don't have that chance. Just get to interact with your kids. So I'm sure even in our following videos, we'll be doing more even about positive parenting, so that we get to know all the styles of parenting. Where are you? What can you do? It's never too late. The much I can say is, if you have a chance to watch this video, get to know it's never too late. There is still that room for you to connect emotionally with your kids and to ensure that they will not carry with them some unresolved childhood trauma. So we are here to promote, yes, even kids go for therapy, adolescents go for therapy, and it's our responsibility to ensure, just like we take care of them physically, what they are eating, what they are feeding. Actually, therapy should be declared a basic need for every kid to be able to be seen by a psychologist. And at Allsmile, this is what we do. We have very nice places. We do play therapy, by the way. I think we've done several videos about our space. We have art therapy, for their play therapy and everything. We have psychologists who are very specialized in child therapy. So you need not to be afraid. Just bring them here. And just to say, you'll have to be with them so that you can give consent. And also you tell us what has motivated you to bring them for therapy. And get to know they also have their rights. The confidentiality is between the therapist and the kid. But should there be a need for you to be involved and to be informed as a parent for a collaborative, and at times we even go far to even get the teachers or the people that they are with for a collaborative treatment, you'll definitely be informed. So yeah, let them come and be seen by a professional psychologist. And that's what we do at Allsmile. They are coming, they are breaking. Actually, the gift you can give them, just bring them. You don't have to have a reason to have them come for therapy. You just appear. just appear, bring them. Don't forget that we see clients virtually. And for virtual and online sessions, we serve 24/7. I mean, be it on a Sunday, Christmas, Eid al-Fitr, Easter, whichever day, on a Saturday, on a Sunday, at night, midnight, 2 a.m., 4 a.m., 4 p.m., anytime. We are 24/7 organization. And yeah, you can see AllSmile is the leading mental health facility for all the services that we offer. And actually, I think here I have some of the awards that we've received. This is for the East Africa, for the Digitally Fit Award. We also have for the Elite Brands, that's for the Africa. And we have much more. When you come here and you go to our reception, you'll be able to see them. Like, these are 2 in my office reception. We have a lot. Also, in our therapy rooms, they're there. So I'm sure we are not just given trophy from nowhere. And also, many thanks to you, our dear clients, because you've really done a lot of work to refer us to spread the gospel about mental health awareness out there. And we keep on having and serving people. So apart from kids therapy, we do see grown-ups. And by day for kids, we mean from 4 years to 18 years. Kids, preteens, teens, adolescents, all through. So we see young adults, we see everyone. We see couples for premarital. I'm sure over time we'll be having much of such talk so that we can educate you more on marriage and family therapy, as well as why premarital is very, very important. Midlife crisis, anything. So for marriage, for group, even for corporates, EAP, we are actually the leading organization when it comes to corporate EAP, and much more. So we are here for grief counseling in case of loss and grief, death in the family or wherever. We are here, we do that so well, both as a group counseling or even when it comes to one-on-one. We also, our treatment is evidence-based, so we will do psychopathology or what we call clinical psychological assessment, and will not just be, naming and labeling those disorders. You will actually be able to see a test has been administered, and also we go with according to the severity or how mild, where are we at. We also have psychiatric services, and finally we have rehabilitation center. This is an inpatient for addiction and mental disorder treatment. Our center is based in Westlands. We are in Westlands at the junction of Muthithi Road and Mpaka Road. Actually, I'm doing this video from there, but our rehabilitation center is along Kamiti Road in Kiamumbi. So I will also be sharing, I know you can see some of the videos that we've been able to do. Go to Lynn Ngugi channel, LNN. I know most of you are fan or you followed us from LNN. Get to watch because we've done so many videos. And there is these 2 particular ones. The last one for Francis. Francis is actually my blood brother. We did about his life in addiction for 17 good years. And now we are also talking about how we lost our dad in addiction. And before then, had also done another video. And we broke it down into what actually addiction is and how, when we say addiction is a disease, how do we even how do we go about its treatment? Of course, there is no any known cure so far, but if it's a disease, it's treatable. And I think that's the most important thing. So we have a lot of things that we offer, not forgetting even our training and our group for going to America. We are still doing that. But one thing I say is we are not a tour agency, neither are we a travel agency. Visas are not guaranteed. And when you come, you actually come for psychology and mental health first aid program. But along the way, if you so wish to join our training, you actually just register, you consent that you want to go, because our trip, because our trip, they take place in the US. So yeah, and we look forward this year. Actually, I can see in the lineup, we have like 3 trips to the US coming along the way. We thank God for that. So yes. And we'll still keep on having many, many more. I know we have association and we are we have membership of different associations. So we have a trip for the US in February, August. Now we have October, a new one that we just got invite, and we have for November. Actually, there are 4. So of course, now when there are 4, it means anytime that you are pursuing our psychology and mental health first aid program, you stand a chance after the completion to just go out there to the America and get to meet with global researchers, practitioners in the field of psychology and mental health. So we do so much. We are only going to share some of the things we do, including our therapy rooms, so that you can see them. And yeah, be rest assured that when you come to AllSmile, you're going to be served with dignity and with high care. Professionalism and ethics is what we live for, and of course, duty of care. So once again, thank you so much. My name is Triza Kaineka, and by the way, because most people will come and ask for Triza, we are many psychologists here, both male and female, the preference that you want, old and young. We even have Agape, our Gen Z psychologists. I'm not so sure if you've met them. And we also have a lovely team. So thank you so much. And looking forward to see you bring your kids to AllSmiles very soon. Thank you.